Hey, it's Stacy, and today I'm digging into a question that I swear I get weekly, sometimes daily, from people who are either brand new to the STR game or they've been sitting on the sidelines watching things unfold and trying to figure out when to jump in. Is there a best time of year to buy a short-term rental? Or sometimes it's more like, should I wait for the market to cool down? Should I wait until spring? Or maybe I missed the boat and I should wait till fall. And I get it, truly. When you're thinking about putting your hard-earned money into real estate, especially short-term rentals, the idea of timing is hard to ignore. Like, we're taught our whole lives to buy low, sell high, right? We're always looking for a deal. We want to be strategic, and let's be real, we want to win. But here's the thing, when it comes to STRs, and especially in a market like Phoenix, timing the market in the traditional sense, it's kind of a myth. Now, I'm not saying the calendar doesn't matter at all. I'll definitely talk about that and some of the windows of opportunity, especially here in the Valley. But this idea that you're going to wait for the perfect month to buy and then boom, your Airbnb will be printing cash? Yeah, we're going to bust that wide open today. So we're going to get into it. I'm talking about why waiting for perfect timing can actually hurt you, why Phoenix doesn't follow the same seasonal rules as most STR markets, and how understanding events like Barrett-Jackson, the Phoenix Open, spring training, and spring break can actually help you time your launch right, even if you don't time your purchase perfectly. If you're a newer investor or you've been quietly researching and watching STRs from the sidelines, this is your episode. So let's jump into things. Okay. So let's just address the elephant in the room. We all want to time things just right? We want the deal. We want the low price, the motivated seller, the moment when interest rates magically dip and nobody else is shopping. And listen, I am so with you. I'm naturally a planner. I love strategy. I love making moves that feel aligned and smart, but in real estate, especially in short-term rentals, waiting for the stars to align can cost you more than it saves you. And here's why. Let's just say someone tells you, oh, January is the best time to buy a house. And suddenly everybody believes that. So what happens? Buyers start planning for January. Agents tell their clients to list in January. Everyone's trying to jump into the market all at once. And the exact reason it was good to buy in January, because things were quiet and you could negotiate, suddenly disappears. Markets self-correct really fast. If there's one thing I've learned in 20 plus years in real estate, it's that you cannot outsmart the market by timing it. You have to work with it. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I had a client, we'll call her Lisa. Lisa was so ready to buy her first STR. She had the money, she had the motivation, and she had done all the research, but she kept waiting for the market to slow down. Rates might drop, she'd say. Prices might come down a little bit. She watched for almost 9 months. We'd send her deals, she'd get excited, and then analysis paralysis set in. And finally, when she was ready to pull that trigger, the house she wanted had gone up $50,000. No joke. And competition was way stiffer. It was truly heartbreaking because she could have been collecting rental income that whole time. Instead, she was stuck watching from the sideline while prices ticked up and inventory tightened. So what's the takeaway here? It's this. There is no magic month. If you're waiting for perfect, you'll miss profitable. Because STRs aren't just real estate. They're a business. And like any business, it's not about when you open the doors, it's about how well you run it. Don't focus on whether it's January, July. Focus on, do I have my down payment? Do I understand my market? Do I have a game plan for furnishing, managing, and pricing? That's what truly matters. Because the truth is, every single month has a reason not to buy if you go looking for one. Rates are too high. Inventory is low. People are traveling less. Whatever. But if you flip it, every month also has an opportunity. You just have to see it. All right, let's shift gears and talk about something I love, the Phoenix market. Because one thing that makes this area so special and so powerful from a short-term rental perspective is that we don't follow the same seasonal rules as a lot of other markets. In fact, while most people are still hibernating through winter, Phoenix is just getting warmed up. I'm talking about late January into February, 2 months that people often think are slow in the real estate world. But here, that's when things start buzzing. Let me give you some context. First up, we've got Barrett-Jackson. This is the premier collector car auction. It's a whole thing, not just for car people, but for people who love the luxury lifestyle, who come to town, often from out of state, to buy, sell, and show off these insane cars. And you better believe they're not looking for a hotel room. These are the folks who are booking STRs with garages, high-end finishes, space to host a little gathering. It's a real opportunity to attract the kind of guest that books fast, pays premiums, and treats your place with respect. Then right on the heels of that is the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And if you've never been, let me just tell you, it's not your typical golf tournament. It is a party, like a massive party. It's where golf meets spring break meets Scottsdale vibes. There's live music, events all over the city, and thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of people flying in to be part of it. And here's the thing no one tells you, the demand for STRs during those two events is wild. Properties that would normally rent for $250 a night, they're getting $500, $600, $700. If you got the right listing in the right location and you're live before the end of the year, you could clean up. And this is just the beginning of the season. Because after Barrett-Jackson and Waste Management, we slide right into spring training and spring break. March is insane in the best possible way. Families are traveling, baseball fans are in town, snowbirds are still hanging out before heading home. The weather is glorious. It's literally the golden window for STRs. So while everyone else is thinking, oh, I'll wait till April or May, you're already booked up. But the key is you've got to be ready before it starts. And that means buying, furnishing, and getting listed by the end of the year. Probably you're thinking November, December at the latest if you want to take advantage of all this. All right, so here's where I'm going to bring it all home. Because even with everything I have just said, even with the events and the high season and the local timing, the real answer to when is the best time to buy a short-term rental is this. The best time is when you're ready. Let me tell you something. Furnishing an STR, that's the fun part. Shopping for houses, that's exciting. Even pricing it and watching the bookings roll in, that's addicting. But you know what's hard? Coming up with the down payment, building your reserves, committing to the decision. That's the part where people get stuck. So if you've saved your money, if you spent time researching your market, if you got a vision and you're ready to move, that is the best time. Don't overthink it. You can't build cash flow on Zillow links and spreadsheets. At some point, you have to take the leap, and yes, it's a risk, but it's a calculated one, especially if you're in a market like Phoenix, where tourism is strong, the weather is an asset, and demand is legit. Listen, I get it. Just like my client Lisa, who was terrified, she didn't know how she was going to pay that mortgage in the slow season. She questioned herself every step of the way, but you know what? She figured it out. She adjusted. She learned. And you know what? She did it again. And that's what I want for you. Because when you finally take action, you stop watching from the outside and start learning from the inside. And that is where the magic truly happens. All right, now let's talk about something I call Go Day. Now, this isn't an official real estate term or anything fancy. This is just what I personally call the day when I think STR season really kicks off across the country. Like I said, here in Phoenix, we maybe kick off a little bit earlier, but this day is March 15th. That's Go Day. That's the day where if your short-term rental is live and ready, you're in such a good spot to maximize what's coming next. So why March 15th? Because by mid-March, we've got this perfect storm happening in the valley. Spring training is in full swing. Baseball fans are flying in from all over to catch their teams in action. Spring break travelers are booking trips for sun, pools, hikes, golf, you name it. The weather is straight up perfection. We're talking high 70s, sunny, and no humidity. It's like clockwork. People want to be here. They're done with the cold. They're planning their vacations and weekend escapes. They want to swim, hike, shop, sip cocktails on patios, maybe even squeeze a little baseball or golf. And they're choosing Airbnbs and STRs over hotels more than ever. So here's why go day matters. If your STR is up and running by mid-March, you've got a huge opportunity to build momentum early. And that momentum is what feeds algorithm gods. Airbnb, Vrbo, Google. The earlier you can start booking solid guests and getting good reviews, the more visibility you get going forward. Now, I'm not saying if you launch after March 15th, it's game over. Not at all. But if you've been on the fence about getting things live, this is the push. Back up from March 15th, and that gives you a solid game plan. Let's say you want to launch mid-March. That means you probably need to be under contract in January at the latest. You need to give yourself a few weeks to close, then add time for furnishings, staging, professional photography, listing setup, pricing strategy, cleaning crew, onboarding, and so on. It's not hard, but it does take intention. The earlier you start, the smoother that launch window becomes. I always tell people, don't try to slap together a listing in a weekend and expect 5-star guests to show up on Monday. Take the time, be strategic, and if you can go live by go day, that is your sweet spot. Okay, and here's the last big piece, and this one is super important because if you're someone who gets worried about slow seasons, because the truth is, seasonality is real. Even here in Phoenix. Yes, we are blessed with better year-round tourism than a lot of places. Yes, we have strong weather appeal, tons of events, snowboard season, and golf culture that keeps people coming. But even with all that, there are natural waves in the STR bookings. And instead of being afraid of those waves, I want you to plan for them. Here's what I see play out year after year. High season. Late January through early April is strong. That's Barrett-Jackson, Phoenix Open, spring training, spring break, gorgeous weather. Then we have October to early December, picks up again thanks to more events, weddings, retreats, and people escaping colder states. And then our slower season, mid-May through August, can be tough, especially when the temps spike and people start avoiding the desert. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is hot here. Some of November and early December can feel slow depending on your setup and audience. Now here's the part I want you to remember. Slower does not mean dead. It just means different. In summer, you can adjust your pricing, target traveling nurses, go after longer stays, offer deals to locals looking for staycations or a temporary home during a renovation. The demand doesn't disappear. It just shifts. And if you know how to pivot with it, you'll be fine. And also, slow season is when you build your reserves. You don't wait until July to figure out how to pay your mortgage. You crush it in spring. You save, you get lean and efficient, and when the slower months roll around, you're calm. You've planned for it. I'll be honest. Lisa freaked out that first summer in STR. She panicked. She thought, oh my gosh, why isn't it booked out like March was? But now she knows better. Now she knows that this is the time to breathe, regroup, maybe take a little trip or even use the property yourself. And that's part of being in this business. It's not about trying to hit home runs every single month. It's about building something sustainable and resilient. So here's the big picture. Is there a perfect time to buy a short-term rental? No. Is there a smart way to time your launch and take advantage of Phoenix's event-driven season? Absolutely. If you're sitting on your down payment, you've done the research, and you're waiting for a sign, this is your sign. Because go day is coming, and if you can get in before then, even better. I know we've passed it already this year, but there's still next year. But again, don't wait for perfect. STR investing is a long game, a smart game, and honestly, it's a fun game. But you only win if you actually start playing. And if you want someone in your corner who knows the market, understands the trend, and actually lives and breathes this stuff, I got you. Whether you need help buying, launching, or managing your Phoenix STR, I'd love to be part of your journey. You can DM me on Instagram at Stacy_sells_AZ or shoot me an email at realtorstacy@stacymuller.com. If this video helped you think it through your next move, hit that like button, subscribe, and send it to a friend who's thinking about diving into the STR world. More videos will be coming your way soon. Until then, cheers to your next big move.